Rick Harrison, the star of Pawn Stars and co-owner of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, has built a name that's recognized far beyond the walls of his Las Vegas store. His deep knowledge of history and skilled negotiations have made him a fan favorite, drawing millions of viewers to the hit reality show. However, beyond the fame and fortune, Rick's life has been marked by numerous personal and legal struggles that few are aware of. From family challenges to lawsuits involving his own mother, Rick's journey has been anything but smooth. In recent years, the public has witnessed both his resilience in the face of personal loss and the controversies that have clouded his legacy. This article delves into the highs and lows of Rick Harrison's life, exploring the hidden struggles and ongoing legal battles that have shaped the man behind the TV persona. Rick Harrison's journey to fame began far from the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas. Born on March 22, 1965, in Lexington, North Carolina, Rick was the third of 4 children in the Harrison family. His father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, a former U.S. Navy officer, instilled in Rick the values of hard work and perseverance, traits that would later become essential in his business career. However, Rick's childhood was not without its hardships. At the age of 2, the family relocated to San Diego, California, following his father's reassignment with the Navy. It was here that Rick faced one of his first significant life challenges: epilepsy. He began suffering from severe seizures at just 8 years old, a condition that confined him to his bed for extended periods. With limited physical activity, Rick turned to reading as an escape. His fascination with books, particularly the Great Brains series, would foster a deep interest in history, something that would later play a crucial role in his future endeavors. Life in the Harrison household was far from easy. His father's failed real estate business pushed the family to move once again, this time to Las Vegas in 1981. By then, Rick was just 16 years old, and the financial strain on the family became more apparent. It was during this period that Rick dropped out of high school.
How far in high school did you go?
Finished the 9th grade.
9th grade?
Yeah.
To help support his family by selling counterfeit designer handbags. This early experience in sales laid the foundation for the sharp negotiation skills that Rick would later become known for in the pawn business. Despite these early struggles, Rick was determined to make something of himself. His path took a new turn when his girlfriend Kim became pregnant when Rick was just 17. Though their first child tragically passed away due to a miscarriage, the couple welcomed their son, Corey, in 1983. This life-changing event, along with his father's decision to open a pawn and coin shop, marked the beginning of Rick's immersion in the world of pawnbroking, a journey that would eventually lead him to fame. Rick Harrison's entry into the pawn business didn't happen overnight. In 1981, his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, opened a small coin shop in Las Vegas, but Rick quickly found himself deeply involved in the business. For the first few years, the business was modest, and Rick had to juggle multiple jobs, including repossessing cars at night, to make ends meet. However, Rick had bigger ambitions for the family business. He envisioned transforming the coin shop into a fully operational pawn shop, a dream that proved challenging due to the strict Las Vegas regulations on pawn licenses. At the time, the number of pawn licenses was capped based on the city's population. It wasn't until 1989, after years of waiting and persistence, that the Harrison family finally secured their license. With this crucial step completed, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop officially opened its doors on Las Vegas Boulevard. Running a pawn shop in Las Vegas, however, was no easy task. While the business started to grow, Rick and his father still faced significant challenges, including stiff competition and the unpredictable nature of the pawn industry. The shop initially focused on buying and selling rare sports memorabilia and unique historical items, but Rick soon realized that jewelry sales would become the backbone of the business, driving most of the shop's revenue. Despite the shop's gradual success, financial stability was often elusive. The ups and downs of the pawn industry meant that the Harrison family constantly had to adapt to market changes. By 2005, Rick and his father were lending millions of dollars annually and making substantial profits from interest, but they continued to struggle with keeping the business relevant in a competitive market. Rick had long believed that their pawn shop could become the focus of a television show, but it wasn't until a chance encounter in 2008 that his vision would start to take shape. Left Field Pictures, intrigued by the shop's unique items and colorful clientele, approached Rick with the idea of creating a reality show based on the day-to-day operations of Gold and Silver Pawn. In July 2009, Pawn Stars made its debut on the History Channel. Almost overnight, the show became a massive success, drawing millions of viewers with its blend of history, humor, and negotiation. However, success came with its own set of challenges. Rick found himself navigating the complexities of reality TV while maintaining the integrity of his family business. Fame brought increased scrutiny scrutiny, and Rick soon had to balance his public persona with the day-to-day realities of running the shop. Behind the success of Pawn Stars and the growth of the gold and silver pawn shop, Rick Harrison has faced significant personal hardships that shaped his life in profound ways. While his sharp business acumen and engaging on-screen presence have earned him worldwide fame, these private struggles reveal a more complex side to the man behind the TV persona. One of the earliest and most painful losses in Rick's life was the death of his sister, Sherry. Born with Down syndrome, Sherry passed away at just 6 years old, a tragedy that left a deep emotional scar on the Harrison family. Although Rick rarely speaks about this chapter of his life, the early loss of his sister was a formative experience that likely shaped his outlook on life and family. Years later, another devastating loss struck Rick when his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, famously known as the Old Man on Pawn Stars, passed away in 2018. Richard had been not only Rick's business partner, but also his mentor. The loss of his father left Rick with the full responsibility of managing both the family business and his expanding television empire.
That is one of the stupidest statements I ever heard in my life.
The two had been incredibly close, and for viewers of Pawn Stars, the dynamic between Rick and the Old Man was a central part of the show's appeal. Losing his father, particularly after battling Parkinson's disease, was a personal blow that Rick shared with fans, paying tribute to him in a heartfelt Instagram post and in interviews. In addition to the loss of family members, Rick has faced multiple challenges in his personal relationships. He has been married and divorced 3 times, each marriage presenting its own set of challenges. His third marriage to Deanna Burdett, which took place in 2013, seemed like a fresh start for Rick. However, the couple divorced in 2020, with court documents citing irreconcilable differences. Rick and Deanna's split was particularly hard on him, but Rick took comfort in the relationship he had developed with Deanna's 3 daughters, whom he considers family, despite the divorce. Balancing family life with a rapidly growing business and international fame wasn't easy for Rick. Throughout his career, Rick has had to juggle the demands of being a public figure while maintaining his responsibilities as a father. His eldest son, Corey, has been a vital part of both the shop and the Pawn Stars show, but Rick's middle son, Adam, chose to stay away from the limelight, which added a personal dynamic that was rarely seen on screen. Perhaps the most heartbreaking of all was the loss of Rick's son, Adam Harrison, in January 2024. Adam tragically died from a fentanyl and methamphetamine overdose, a revelation that shocked both fans and those close to the Harrison family. Adam, who had largely stayed out of the public eye, was only 39 at the time of his death. Rick openly shared his grief on social media, posting a touching tribute to his son with the words, "You'll always be in my heart. I love you, Adam," alongside a photo of the two together. This tragic loss deeply affected Rick, who had already experienced so much pain and hardship throughout his life. The death of a child is an unimaginable heartbreak, and Rick's resilience in the face of this tragedy has been noted by those close to him. Despite these hardships, Rick continues to push forward, focusing on his family, his business, and his work on Pawn Stars. As Rick Harrison's public profile grew through the success of Pawn Stars, so did the challenges that came with managing a high-profile business. Among the most significant struggles have been legal disputes that have brought family tensions to the forefront and placed Rick in the spotlight for reasons other than his business acumen. One of the most surprising and publicized legal battles Rick has faced involved his own mother, Joanne Rue. In February 2022, Joanne filed a lawsuit against Rick, accusing him of mishandling family assets and withholding her rightful share of ownership in the gold and silver pawn shop. Joanne's lawsuit claimed that Rick manipulated her into signing over her 51% ownership of the business during a time when she was in poor health and not fully aware of what she was agreeing to. According to the suit, she hadn't been receiving the financial reports she was entitled to, and alleged that Rick had stopped making regular payments from her late husband's portion of the business. The lawsuit also accused Rick of concealing financial records and mismanaging more than $500,000 in cash and silver that Joanne believed should have been part of her inheritance. These accusations shocked many fans, as Rick had always been seen as a family man, and Pawn Stars had largely portrayed a harmonious family dynamic between him, his father, and the shop. In response to the lawsuit, Rick denied the allegations, claiming that the accusations were baseless and that his mother had been misled by outside parties. He insisted that he had always acted in the best interests of the business and the family, calling the situation heartbreaking, but standing firm in his belief that his mother was being influenced by others. Despite the emotional toll of being embroiled in a legal battle with his own mother, Rick continued to manage the business while navigating the complexities of this family dispute. Beyond the highly publicized lawsuit with his mother, Rick Harrison has faced additional legal and personal controversies throughout his career. His rapid rise to fame made him a target for scrutiny, and he has occasionally found himself at the center of various accusations. In addition to the lawsuit, Rick's divorce from his third wife, Deanna Burdett, in 2020 stirred public interest, with some speculating that personal differences and the pressures of fame played a role in the dissolution of their marriage. While the divorce was settled amicably, the event further highlighted the personal challenges Rick faced while trying to balance his public and private life. On a broader scale, Rick's political endorsements have also attracted controversy. A vocal supporter of Donald Trump, Rick publicly endorsed the former president in the 2020 election, as well as other political figures in Nevada. While this solidified his place among conservative-leaning fans, it sparked criticism from others who disagreed with his views, adding a layer of complexity to his public persona. These controversies, combined with his family's internal legal battles, have placed Rick in a difficult position, navigating the dual role of TV star and businessman, while dealing with the fallout of personal and professional conflicts. Like many businesses across the globe, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop was not immune to the sweeping effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Rick Harrison, who had built his pawn shop into a Las Vegas staple and a tourist destination, faced unprecedented challenges during this period. The pandemic upended not only the pawn industry, but also the city of Las Vegas itself, where tourism is a critical lifeline for many local businesses, including Rick's. As COVID-19 cases began to surge in early 2020, the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop was forced to temporarily close its doors. The heart of Rick's business, tourists who flocked to the shop after seeing it on Pawn Stars, disappeared almost overnight. While pawn shops traditionally thrive during economic downturns as people seek quick cash by pawning items, the pandemic presented a unique challenge, with travel restrictions and safety concerns. Many people were simply not venturing out to pawn shops, especially one that had become more of a tourist attraction than a typical local pawn operation. The shop was forced to close its tourist section for 30 days in March 2020, significantly impacting revenue. Rick and his team, however, kept the financial operations running by working through the night window, allowing locals to continue to pawn items for much-needed cash. However, the broader economic impact of the pandemic, combined with the initial shutdowns, had a devastating effect on the business. Rick was determined not to let the pandemic sink his family's business. In an effort to help those struggling financially, he lowered the interest rates on loans and extended deadlines for customers to reclaim their pawned items. As Rick explained in interviews, he had been a part of the Las Vegas community for decades and wanted to give back in a time of crisis. This community-focused approach helped maintain some goodwill with local customers, but it did little to offset the massive decline in revenue. In addition to adjusting loan terms, Rick continued to buy and sell items through the shop's night window. This 24/7 service was a lifeline for some, but the overall slowdown in the pawn industry remained. According to reports, Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, which typically earns over $1 million annually, saw its revenue drop dramatically to just $37,460 during the height of the pandemic in 2020. The severe financial blow meant that the business, like many others, struggled to stay afloat in a world where tourism and in-person transactions had ground to a halt. Even as Las Vegas began to recover and reopen, the lingering effects of the pandemic posed long-term challenges for Rick's business. While the shop eventually reopened, the reduced number of tourists meant that the steady stream of new visitors had not yet returned to pre-pandemic levels. Additionally, the pawn industry itself experienced shifts as more people began using online platforms for buying and selling items, reducing foot traffic in traditional brick-and-mortar shops. Rick's resilience and experience in running a business through tough times undoubtedly helped him navigate the worst of the pandemic. But the road to recovery has been slow. Despite the setbacks, Rick remained committed to keeping the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop alive, even as the business adapted to a new normal in the post-pandemic world. After decades of building an empire through Pawn Stars and managing the gold and silver pawn shop, Rick Harrison has slowly transitioned into a semi-retired life. While still heavily involved in the show that made him a household name, Rick has taken a step back from the daily grind of running the shop. This shift reflects not only his desire to spend more time with his family, but also the challenges and losses that have shaped his life in recent years. As the face of Pawn Stars for over a decade, Rick has become one of the most recognizable figures in reality television. But as the pressures of managing both the business and his public persona grew, Rick began to reduce his involvement in the day-to-day operations of the pawn shop. Today, he no longer works full-time at Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, instead allowing his son, Corey Harrison, and the shop's trusted team to take on more responsibilities. Corey, who has been a key figure in the business and on the show for years, has proven himself capable of handling the shop in his father's semi-absence. Despite stepping back from the pawn shop floor, Rick remains actively involved in the Pawn Stars franchise. One of his primary focuses is Pawn Stars Do America, a spin-off that takes Rick, Corey, and Chumlee on the road, exploring historical treasures and unique items across the country. This new venture allows Rick to continue doing what he loves, evaluating rare and historically significant items, while also giving him the freedom to travel and explore beyond the confines of the Las Vegas shop. In Pawn Stars Do America, Rick's role remains central, and fans continue to enjoy his sharp historical knowledge and witty banter. The show provides a fresh take on the Pawn Stars formula, allowing Rick to maintain his presence in the media while spending less time tied to the day-to-day operations of the pawn shop. This semi-retirement is a balancing act, allowing Rick to enjoy the fruits of his success without fully stepping away from the industry that has defined his career. One of the main reasons Rick decided to scale back his involvement in the shop and embrace semi-retirement is his desire to focus on family, particularly his grandchildren. Family has always been at the center of Rick's life. Despite the numerous challenges and losses he has faced over the years, his relationship with his eldest son Corey remains strong, with Corey following in his father's footsteps as both a pawnbroker and a TV personality. Rick's role as a grandfather, however, has become increasingly important to him in recent years, especially as he navigates life after the tragic loss of his middle son, Adam. The death of his son Adam in January 2024 from a fentanyl and methamphetamine overdose was a devastating blow to Rick. Losing a child is one of the hardest experiences any parent can face, and Rick's grief was palpable as he shared the news with his fans. On social media, he posted a heartfelt tribute, reflecting on the love he had for Adam and the hole his absence would leave in the family. Despite this tragedy, Rick remains close to Adam's siblings and continues to support his extended family in any way he can. In interviews and public appearances following Adam's death, Rick has spoken about the importance of spending time with loved ones and how this personal loss has shifted his priorities. Though Rick has stepped back from running the shop full-time, his influence and presence in the pawn industry and media remain strong. In addition to his work on Pawn Stars Do America, Rick has continued to explore other business ventures and public engagements. Over the years, he has endorsed various products, including the Micro Touch 1 razor.
On my face and my beautiful bald head, trust me, you are gonna love this razor.
And made numerous guest appearances on other TV programs. His recognition extends far beyond the world of pawnbroking, and Rick remains a sought-after figure for interviews and media events. In 2023, Rick was inducted into the Kentucky Colonels, the highest honor awarded by the Governor of Kentucky, a recognition of his contributions to his field and his community. This honor reflects Rick's broader impact, not just as a businessman, but as a public figure who has used his platform to influence others. Despite his semi-retirement, Rick continues to stay involved in causes and events that matter to him, often using his platform to give back to the community. In addition to his professional engagements, Rick has increasingly focused on personal passions outside of pawnbroking. He has expressed interest in historical preservation.
I'm a huge history buff. I read history books all the time. I really don't watch television.
And has been involved in various charitable initiatives aimed at supporting veterans and the local Las Vegas community. While he remains semi-retired, Rick continues to keep one foot in the public sphere, enjoying the flexibility that comes with his reduced role at the shop. As Rick enjoys his semi-retirement, it's clear that his legacy in both the pawn industry and reality television is firmly established. Though he no longer works full-time at Gold and Silver Pawn, Rick's influence on the business remains strong, and his presence on Pawn Stars continues to captivate audiences worldwide.
Why are you in my seat?
Now focused on family, travel, and his passions, Rick is navigating this new chapter of his life with the same resilience that has defined his career. While he has endured personal losses and faced public scrutiny, Rick's journey is far from over. His ability to adapt and overcome challenges, both personal and professional, ensures that he remains a lasting figure in the public eye. Whether on the road for Pawn Stars Do America or spending time with his family, Rick's life after semi-retirement reflects a man who has earned the opportunity to enjoy the rewards of his hard work while continuing to leave his mark on the world. Rick Harrison's story is a remarkable one, defined by both immense success and deep personal challenges. Rising from humble beginnings in a small Las Vegas pawn shop, Rick managed to turn the family business into a cultural phenomenon through the hit reality TV show Pawn Stars. His sharp negotiating skills, vast knowledge of history, and charismatic personality made him a household name. But beneath the surface, his journey has been far from easy. Throughout his life, Rick has faced a series of personal hardships, from the tragic loss of his sister Sherry in his early years to the more recent death of his son, Adam, in 2024. The passing of his father, Richard the Old Man Harrison, in 2018, left Rick to carry the full weight of the family business and further tested his resilience. Beyond these personal tragedies, Rick has also been embroiled in legal disputes, most notably the highly publicized lawsuit with his mother, Joanne Rue, over control of the family business. These internal family struggles played out under the scrutiny of the public eye, challenging Rick's public image while he tried to keep his business intact. The COVID-19 pandemic further complicated his business, forcing the temporary closure of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop and severely impacting its revenue. Yet, Rick adapted, continuing to lend money and serve customers through alternative methods, even as the shop faced unprecedented financial struggles. Now, in semi-retirement, Rick has scaled back his role at the pawn shop, entrusting his son, Corey, with more responsibilities, while continuing to participate in the Pawn Stars, franchise through Pawn Stars Do America. This transition allows him to enjoy more time with his family, especially his grandchildren, while maintaining a strong presence in the industry. Despite the controversies, legal battles, and personal losses, Rick Harrison's legacy is firmly established. He has not only built a multi-million-dollar business, but also transformed the way people view pawn shops, bringing historical treasures and forgotten stories to a global audience. As he steps into the next phase of his life, Rick's resilience, adaptability, and passion for history ensure that he remains a lasting figure in both reality TV and the pawn industry. Thanks for watching. Comment down below on the first time you watched Rick's show. Subscribe if you liked the video so you won't miss out next upload.